What's up YouTube? It's your computer engineering gamer back with some fresh new content, and today I will be playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, but acting as if the Force doesn't exist. I'll be using no Force powers for damaging, healing, buffing, or afflicting status conditions. It just doesn't exist, at least in battle. Companions will also be barred from Force powers, aka I most likely will use non-Force companions only for much of the run. Enjoy the video. If you like my content, check me out on twitch.tv/LoganMan8, where I've been recently streaming my KOTOR 2 Force Only playthrough, as well as Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 as a Saiyan and the finals ranked. The rules for the playthrough are as follows. 1. All characters in the party must use melee weapons, when applicable. 2. Melee weapons must be double-bladed weapons. This disallows the use of the +3 attack and +3 defense of dueling and the ability to have more weapon bonuses from dual wielding like stun chance on main hand and an extra ion or poison in the offhand from a blade like the Geno Harad. 3. There are no force powers available in combat. It doesn't matter what build you use in this game. If you have force powers, then you have access to master speed, which makes any build overpowered. This will have two drawbacks. I won't have any chance to hit extra and a defense bonus. But most of all, I have to go slow the entire playthrough. This makes our med packs and the life support packs even more important during battle, as well as the treat injury skill. I allow the use of healing only when outside of battle, and I am not forced to move into combat upon finishing a fight. 4. I will not be using any gear from Suvam Tam, and all the gear will come from the base game. Any money spent with Suvam might as well be a cheat code the way his gear has high stats on everything. With these restrictions, I'll just go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. I will be using Canderous, Carth, and Zalbar as party members for this playthrough to avoid any force heals from comms, so that this playthrough is completely unaffected by force powers. I could just control their actions for every encounter, but there really isn't a point when these two have such massive strength bonuses. Besides that, the temple on the Rakatan Planet requires Jolee and Juhani, and Bastila and Dantooine are required, so I can manage these sections. The only other party options for party members, looking at it from my prior experience with the game, is Bastila for the immunities of a Jedi Sentinel, or Juhani if she has high dex and strength. Special note, I haven't been saying this in other videos, but I do set the game to the harder difficulty except for the blasters only so far. There should be no problems on a lower difficulty, especially when min-maxing a character for a specific build. Even blasters only was achievable with the help of master speed, but now we want to avoid all powers and bump the difficulty. I am the character Eleanor Bloodblade, and we are ready to go. If you know where I got the name, let me know down in the comments and you have my respect. We get off of the Ebon Hawk and exit the apartment and head straight to Kebla Yurt's shop. We don't have much money, but we have enough for us to buy the weak 1d6 damage quarterstaff and the basic double-bladed sword. Getting the double blade is an advantage as well as a disadvantage immediately. The advantage is we gain double damage dealing weapons, but we also lose the chance to hit in our main hand by 4. However, future investments will catapult this as our Taris conquering weapon. Later on, after beating Duncan and Gurlon, I came back and purchased the Uchani Ritual brand for the extra point of damage and the +1 to hit. Once our weapon base is set for at least 2 characters, it's time to speedrun Taris. We book it down to the Undercity and mission becomes immediately useless once we get her, as she goes from a +6 to hit single blaster to a complete -2 and -8 chance to hit. She couldn't hit a wall standing still. We gather her, and since we are so low and susceptible to almost every enemy still, we gotta go level and get some feats and gear. I head to the apartments and get the Achani Fiber Armor and Republic Mod Armor for myself and Carth, as well as a couple levels in the gear, pick up the bounty on Matrix to help him out, and Selvin to turn those in for cold hard cash. After that, we head back down, gather the journals, turn those into Rookil, grab the Rackle Serum, freeze Zalbar, and slip past the Rancor. I head into the Volker base with Carth and mission, as she is required, and since Carth has more armor than Zalbar that I'd rather keep for now. Once I get the level up and actually invest a feat into the dual wielding, I just massacre through the Volker base. Once inside, I just ate the poison so that I could get the pool chest. I then transit back to the apartment, upgrade my mod armor, and switch mission with Zalbar so that I can use his high repair skill to ram the garage droid into the door and fight this demon droid that stuns for like 2,000 credit chests inside. Seriously though, this thing can mess you up if you have either a bad character build or weapons and underleveled. I get a level up right outside the door to fight with Candon. I refuse his offer for the Volkers after I tell him to quit all that goddamn yapping, and the following massacre presumes. Following that, we just win the swoop race, kick Brejik's whiny little baby ass, and have Bastila. Meet Canderous in the Cantina, slap some dual ring fights, give Zelka the serum, ransack the Sith base, and demolish Davik and Kylo to leave Taris upon its imminent destruction. A quick note is Bendak got absolutely what I would call in gaming, shit on. I mean, I pieced this dude up harder than a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. Not only did he miss the grenade throw thinking it was going to do anything on my approach, but he also hit the single blaster shot on me during that run-up. Following that with the gear I have equipped, as you see, my stats are starting to grow and I'm becoming a honed weapon. Eleonora is now the mysterious stranger, the biggest and best to ever grace the dual ring of Taris, and the last to do so before it is completely wiped out by Malak and the Sith bombardment. We arrive on Dantooine with little in the way of weaponry. I'm told I am force sensitive and I'm linked with Bastila, and perhaps there's a greater destiny that lies ahead of us. We sleep another night and we undertake the rigorous training to become a soldier with the Force that doesn't use the Force. That shit is a bunch of hokey-dory bullshit that my ultra-strong woman doesn't need, because she's a double blade slicing and stabbing you through the chest is just as effective as the Force in the hands of the master fighter, Eleonora. They don't call her Bloodblade for nothing. We choose the Jedi Guardian class for obvious stat benefits for vitality, attack gain, and feats over Force. Dantooine provides its own proving ground with Cath Hounds and, more importantly, packs of Mandalorians that can be found prowling around the plains. We engage some of these groups and run into the Alpha Albino Cath Hound near one of the groups. This fight goes as it always does, with the Albino taking hits and your team's health, but I was lucky to have a double level up, so Canderous and I gained some significant bonuses going into it. Following this, we saunter back to the Grove, and Canderous gets a hard-on to take on the lead Mandalorian Raider. We enter the fight with some energy shields active to tank the blaster folk surrounding Kashyyyk. I take him on solo while I send Canderous to Carth to thin out the herd and allow us to focus on the big man himself. At one point we solved a murder case, but that's just kind of a gimme with these detective skills. We finally make our way to the Grove to release the temptations that taint this place, and oh shit, I forgot to heal. Well, that never matters when you're Eleanor Bloodblade, because we completely bypassed any of that trouble by just decimating her in one-on-one combat. Your darkness means nothing to me. Well, down in this weird tunnel is a racist robot calling people slaves and shit, so I get mad and break his friends, and force him to open a tunnel to show me his secrets. That's for killing this old guy friend. Anyway, Revan and Malak were here, so now we gotta follow their footsteps and go where their maps say. And weirdly enough, if you look closely in one of these maps, you can see there's a little red spot that says subscribing to the channel will help you save the galaxy. Huh, weird little map spot, but maybe we should take a trip there. Maybe it'll happen along the way. We land on our first planet on the list, Tatooine, and walk up to the Creature Man and essentially set ourselves up for the rest of the game right here. The Asanas brand is the single upgradable special weapon in the entire game, available right here on our first planet. The previous owner himself was killed by Darth Revan, interestingly enough. Surely no ties to this besides us purchasing it here. This immediately sets us up with a huge boost, as the weapon starts with a damage range of 4 to 18 physical slashing damage with a plus 5 ion boost damage against droids. The crit chance is 5%, and the weapon has an attack modifier of plus 2. However, after upgrading, this thing is an absolute beast of effects and spread types of damage. The weapon increases its ion damage to a range of 6 to 9, there is an added plus 3 fire damage and 50% on-hit stun chance with a DC of 10. The attack modifier is increased to plus 3, and the crit chance is now 10%. After buying this weapon and buffing my stats this high, I immediately become a melee master killing machine. Despite the extra damage given to droids, you can see that as we approach the group of miners stuck near a crawler and the sand people attack, we just cut through this group like a hot knife through butter. You can see this weapon hits. The 3 chances from Flurry all have a 50% chance to force a stun roll, as well as dealing massive damage. After we gather enough robes, we begin to approach the base. No, I'm not buying HK because I don't care to waste the money and he won't be used. But I do find it comical that you can just walk between the sand warriors and kill them one by one. Like they just look over and see you cut one down and think, man, must have gotten to an altercation. Kyle was always kind of an asshole. After clearing the field, I enter the garrison of troops, and as many as you know, the Sand People robes let you inside without the HK unit while not being blasted by the turrets. I start making my way through to the Chieftain and eradicate his entire unit while I let Carth and Canderous handle the Chieftain 2-on-1. After the Chieftain is felled, we grab the Eastern Dune Sea map and head over to the Krayt Dragon Cave. Approaching the cave, we have the forlorn idiot that always decides to suicide by dragon is absolutely worth nothing in return. Then Comap proceeds to tell us that the front of the cave is littered with mines. The same front of the cave that the guy walked through and apparently didn't get blown up or decide to run back himself and maybe just be the bait, so we could skip this whole ordeal of bringing the Banthas over while fighting the waves of Tuskens to allow the Banthas to get to the mouth of the cave. Yeah, I know. So after fighting these cloth sandy boys, the dragon walks through, and we can claim our half of the prize of the Krayt Dragon Pearl and consecutively the star map within the cave. Upon exiting, we enter Round 2 with Calo Nord, and our basic energy shields allow us to all run up with minimum to no damage, and I start putting the flurries to work. I get through 4 flurries to wipe him out while dodging almost all damage while Carth and Canderous power attack the outside crew. I hit one last flurry on the final enemy, loot Calo Nord for his armor to instantly upgrade and equip on Canderous, to make him an absolute tank powerhouse. I also opted not to sell the Chieftain's Gavu Stick, as when it is equipped with a semi-decent damage range of 5 to 12 and an on-hit poison effect with a DC of 20, which is a very high DC and likely to affect most enemies, plus an attack modifier of +2. Canderous will be able to weaken any big enemies with the poison's effect over time of health and attribute depletion. Don't be surprised if you see me whip this out on my main character once we get to Malak and Bastila for the poison effect. With all that, we have completed the first planet. Next up, I always like to go to Kashyyyk and deal with the Wookiee business. The Circuit Corp is instantly trying to shake you down as they did on Tatooine, and I force persuade that bullshit out of here, because I'm not giving 100 credits to people I'm running out of here later. There's your spoiler for the ending of this arc. Nothing much happens as I step a bit further and see Comat has brought himself to Kashyyyk and complimented about a person who down in the Shadowland who has earned Wookiee respect. Judging as I have a Wookiee with me, I shouldn't have need of doing anything like that, right? Anyway, I stopped by Eli real quick and buy the +3 Dex Cyber Reaction System for Zalbar to up him to a +3 Dex modifier since he can't have armor, and the Jamo Hogra armor, which caps my dexterity at the moment. So the +1 gives me a damage to hit boost, as well as a higher defense anyway, and I gotta say, I popped my hip out in this puppy and I'm looking good. We do the traveling and it takes me 2 attempts to kill the Dark Jedi. The Dark Jedi using the Fear Mind Control got me Zalbar immediately, only to not affecting Canderous with his mind affecting immunity, but he was not enough to finish the job on his own. Following that, I equipped the Nerf Amplifier belt to get the immunity myself, and then we went back in for the second round.
Round 2. Fight!
I started targeting the Force users in the back so that the party would not get debilitated, and went to work with Flurry. Once he was down, the fight concluded smoothly. It is now very apparent how weak a full melee soldier group with no will saves can be dealt with from a Force user if you weren't aware of it previously. After that conclusion, I enter the Wookiee village to encounter Chundar. Chundar is just gloating about how he sucks off the Zerka boys and tugs on their pieces to keep them around the Wookiee village. So then he keeps Zalbar around by trying to convince him to do the same and sends us into the Shadowlands by ourselves to just figure shit out and hunt down a rogue Wookiee. Once down here, we find the disgruntled Jolie, who will instantly be forced to wield a weapon he is trash with and rip the Force away from the Consular, like the Force-based Jedi class, who now has no Force powers allowed. Yeah, he's pretty useless down here, but he does slip us past the barrier once the Zerka goons leave very willingly. We wander over to the big grey Wookiee Freyr and find out he's going mad down here with some mad cow Wookiee disease, so we slap down 3 flurry attacks and push his shit in to settle him down and figure out there's a large beast we can kill to gain back some blade relic and Zalbar's honor or something. So I stroll on over to the sacred Wookiee ritual marker and hang some of the nasty viper meat from a tree to bring out the hulking beast. We really would recycle the idea of bring beast food and bring beast out from its lair, twice in a row. This is the first fight you see Canderous using the poison blade taking large effect. As the beast's poison, its health and attributes slowly dwindle as we rain down flurry and power attack combos while it loses the potential for massive damage output. With the beast slain and blade in hand, Freyr makes his way up the trees and I plunge further into the forest for the star map. I play the funny man's game of 21 questions as he wants to probe me of my inner womanly workings. I play hard to get, being the snack I am. Ultimately, he gets done with his digital probing, being a holocron. Come on, you didn't get that. And I gain access to the star map. 2 down, 2 to go. But not so fast, because we have to decide ultimately if we're a bunch of racist slavers who treat the Wookiees like a Zerka breeding pen, or cause the uprising of the rebellion and take back the trees for our fellow hairy brethren. So Chundar dies, and the forest is reclaimed for the Wookiees, and we are forever able to return, with Zalbar bringing along the chieftain blade gained for his pursuit of his people in the eyes of his father. We land down on Manaan and talk to Baldy Republic Man and decide to just walk in the front door to the Sith base, because why would they check anyone they've never seen before, and if I swipe a card, I can just walk right in. So in the Sith base, I'm whooping the droid's ass with the Usanus brand. This is the second or third most useful section of the game for the ion damage on the sword. We walk to the back and interestingly find some Selkath. Anyways, with the droid data in tow and the rest of the living Selkath youth exiting, I end up getting myself into court. They accuse me of breaking into the Sith base. Objection! I actually did not. I walked in technically, and then they attacked me inside their base after I got in. And they kidnapped your youth and are training them as Sith. So I easily weaseled my way out and then talk to Baldy again and head down underwater in a submersible. We have this loser merc in the water who is so excited to get eaten, so he just walks in open water and dies. Then I get inside and these two try killing me, and then to save their own lives, they offer 2 solutions. Kill all the sharks and save the city, or blow up the underwater city. Well, I think the big shark is cool, even if this is the worst part of the game, but you get a stunt on some smaller sharks, killing them with sound waves. Just to test the water with the big guy, we get to see if he's hungry. I guess he was. Nice stock horror scream. Anyway, check out this perfect Shark Tank speedrun. Yeah, star map number 3, done. We're on our way out when the worst character of all walks in. This bitch ass killed Trask. This bitch ass is our day 1 enemy. This bitch ass is so goddamn unimportant. His fight isn't hard, and he is literally in the game for like 3 scenes. Anyway, to beat the fight, I killed 2 Jedi and target him. What's even better, we go to the one spot where the submersibles come up, and they don't even have one. I guess he was just built like that. After coming up, we went to court again, and they were just absolutely confused, yelling at each other. Objection! I actually saved your God Shark. That means more to you than the Cellcath and your dumb independent stance from the war. So I'm gonna walk out of here and leave the planet. Well, as we leave, we are captured on the Leviathan, so I choose Canderous to come to save us with our torture. Canderous is the best because he is so strong. Look at him. And on top of that, he gets all of his gear immediately, instead of the shit-ass riot gear from the other chest if you use, say, Jolie. On the way to the bridge, we hit another slow spot, but wow, this shit is a movie. We head to the bridge and fight Admiral Carth and the other Jedi and Sith soldiers on the bridge. We target some of the main Sith in the back, while I head to the front and deal with that. At the end of that, I'm sitting there in the back like I gotta take a shit while Carth gets revenge followed by some of the roughest news of his life. Well, I can't imagine any of that's important. We head down, and what do you know? We don't have time to escape. Darth Malak looks like an idiot, we do the reveal thing, and Bastila values all life, yada yada. Watch me beat Malak's ass twice back to back. Even though I whooped ass, we leave her instead of the 2 of us both being Jedi, just killing him here and finding the star map at Starforge after without Malak's intervention. But what do I know? We escaped and head out to the last planet without Bastila. Not much to say for Korriban, and even less to say since Bastila isn't allowed on it if she's in your party. After becoming Sith and entering the academy, we kill Big Monster who throws me down like 4 times. We loot all the tombs and pick up a Junta Paul's blade, which fits very nicely as the 3rd weapon to round out my team. After getting that sweet prestige tickling Uthar's scrotum just enough, we head to the tomb of Nagasato. Watch the fastest speeder of the pillar puzzle yet. I get the star map and the Sith lightsaber and they fight Uthar with Euthura's help. After that, her dumbass thinks she stood a chance against me and I whoop her and spare her life, making her exit like a dog with its tail between its legs. This makes it even better since you kill Uthar but spare Euthura and the entire academy doesn't jump down your throat, making you kill everyone in there. I could have anyway, they don't even know. With the final map in hand, we head to the Starforge and end up crash landing on the Rakatan Planet, and yo, this shit is a movie again. We talk to these unintelligent warriors and then get interrogated by these older yellow-looking boys of the same species, so we side with them and go back to the fight warrior boys. They might not have old people tech, but they got big boy rancors. Well, since I beat a big boy, I can definitely take on the smaller boys. My immediate goal is to have Carth and I target a rancor and remove it and let Canderous run through some smaller ones. I kept a level up for emergency heal, but as you see, we did not need that shit. We even had one of the big rancor boys hiding in the corner and Canderous dives to pursue him. God's strongest soldier, amen. We enter the temple after seeing this no-jaw looking ass because he tried to test me once before. This time, I'm taking more than that jaw, pussy boy. We climb the temple and Bastila just standing there, menacingly. We then whoop her ass and she shits entirely on Juhani's head and runs away knowing she's a weak bitch who can't beat us. Look at her weak ass and even taking off in her off-brand Ebon Hawk looking ass. We fix our ship and enter the Starforge, and as we enter in the endgame, this is my final gear loadout and stats. The Usanus brand, our Planet 1 Road Dog, the Circlet of Suresh, Jamo Hulgra set of armor, Brejek's armband, Dominator gauntlets for a +5 to strength, Adrenaline stimulator for a +4 to all saves and +2 to dexterity, and Cardio Power System implant for +4 constitution. I have an absolutely insane +9 to my strength modifier from the gear, and +3 bonus from light side attribute, which gives me an even more insane 33 and 31 chance to hit. I could have lost 4 points in dexterity and put them in constitution or strength since my armor restricts 2 of my points. We make our way through the Starforge, and the Jawless Wonder remarks that neither the droids or the apprentices could stop me, the sexy, powerful, ever-winning Eleanor Bloodblade. After chopping through all of that, Malak decided to throw Bastila at us like bait. So I go into battle with her and wrecked her shit back to back to back and made her help us with battle meditation. So I set off to face Malak after his pussy ass threw these droids at us. Nothing these Usanus can't handle. I also want to pause and point out how funny it is that Bastila is in a room over using battle meditation, hearing the absolute havoc of explosions and droid fire. And finally, we reach the end. Eleanor Bloodblade is here to spill blood. My strategy is I put on massive shields and stimulants while healing when his bitch ass runs away between rounds. The fight handled every round as you see here. Spam some flurries, maintain my energy shield in some rounds, fire off an advanced med pack or life support kit, and keep myself geeked out on stimulants. Malak finally reaches his end and gives his spew on maybe he regrets his path after all, maybe just a bit too late on that one, Chief. And he even tries to blame me for his actions, but he was his own young, impressionable Jedi. However, before he goes out, he drops one of the hardest bars.
But that destiny was not mine, Revan. It might have been yours, perhaps, but never mine. And in the end, as the darkness takes me, I am nothing.
We once again save the galaxy with only our own heroics. If you made it to the end of the video, I'll give you the lore that Eleanor Bloodblade comes from the Elden Ring, where I chose to play with Eleanor's Pole Blade that had one of the single coolest special moves, as well as fire and bleed damage. Hey, what do you know, fire damage, just like the Usanus brand. We really did merge the name to the game. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, once again, I'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. As I say, a man is lost without the sauce, but that same man can get lost in the sauce. I'll see you all next time, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.